Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and I'm joined today with Mindy, Jan, and Carmen. And who is Mindy, you may be asking? Mindy Backsen is both our guest today, and she's going to fill in as a guest host. So we have her all day for today.
Yeah.
Yay.
Welcome. It's very fun.
Yay, because I came across Mindy on Facebook. She is an online influencer, which she's going to explain what that means, but she's so darn positive. I thought this is just what we need right now, somebody to lift our spirits and show us the way. How can you start your day and keep it going all day being positive? So welcome to the show, Mindy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
And how about you tell us, what is an online influencer?
Well, I tell you, I gave you the title of online influencer because it really encompasses a lot of things that I do. Main objective being just being a positive person in this online space that we have in this day and age. I also do affiliate marketing. I get a little bit involved in the political realm of things and kind of come from it at many angles. So online influencer kind of was the umbrella, I guess, that I gave it. But it's just a matter, for me personally, of showing up online, just being authentically who I am, and encouraging other people to do the same.
And you do a fantastic job of it, because every once in a while I click on and you interact with people that are also watching. And it's so, the last time I saw, what attracted my attention is this book that you brought with you today. And it's 1,000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently.
Yeah.
We all want to be happy. We all want to be successful. So give us a few secrets here.
You know, this book, it was actually a gift to me by my best friend. She knows me too well. But it's one that I love to teach from. It's one that I love to train on. And it truly does provide, my goodness, so many. I mean, obviously 1,000 different things, that little things that happy, successful people do differently. But what I love about it, it is positive. There's some pieces in there that are really challenging. They challenge your mind to really think and show up differently. So, you know, we can definitely get into this. I want to tell you guys, for those of you that maybe follow me on Facebook or maybe not, jump over to my Facebook page, because I actually just did, on Tuesday, I go live at noon Central Standard Time. And I actually covered, let me get to it here. It's the 9 things that no one wants to regret when they're older. Ooh.
Yeah, I want to know.
It was really good.
Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah. It was really good. I'll jump into just a few of them here, but you guys can jump back to my Facebook page if you want to learn more. But one thing that I thought was a big one, and again, to, you know, the day and age that we're living in right now, I think this is of the utmost importance, and that is, one regret would be not spending enough time smiling with the people that you love. And this kind of stuff, it chokes me up. I mean, there's times too where I'm on my live and it just brings me to tears, because I think, you know, I think about the loss that we've had in this last year. And it's not just physical life loss, but it's emotional loss of life, you know, and where, you know, there have been grandparents that have been in the homes and we've not been able to see them, and our loved ones that we've been too scared to go visit. And this one, to me, it reminds you that life is so precious and so short. And I want to say one more thing too, that I love to talk about, another book, and we'll touch on maybe a few more of these. Or Patty, you let me know where you want to go with this. But so I'm also an affiliate marketer, so I'm in the online sales world, and there's a book out there that changed my life, and it's called The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Yep.
Og Mandino. Are you guys familiar? Yeah. So I was doing some training with my business mentor, Danelle Delgado. And Greatest Salesman in the World is what we were training on. And there's a part in that book that says, it's the scroll marked 5. And it says this: "For I have but one life, and life is not but a measurement of time. If I waste one, I destroy the other. If I waste today, I destroy the last page of my life." And when I read that back in December of 2018, and I actually left my full-time job, I'm a full-time mom, I was a full-time employee at the time. I left to pursue this dream of like being my own boss and doing what I want to do and getting to love on people and encourage people and make money doing it. Like, that's what I get to do every day. But it was that scroll that just, it changed everything for me. And then I was like, how much more can I give? How much more can I encourage? And then this book came into my life, and it's another book that's changed my life. So, yeah.
Wow, I love that. The last page of your life is what we're living right now, right?
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
it's very true that, we all feed off of one another. So, if you can exchange positive energy versus negative, how much better all of us will be.
Yeah.
We're all interconnected.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And you, just listening to you, I look at so many of our youth today that they're not reading books. If they're reading anything, it's something on on their phone or whatever, and it's a little article or a little something. Most of it's visual. It's all visual. It's not reading. It's not processing. And I think of books and what they do to change people's lives. Even if it's just a novel, a great novel that's well written, and I just love hearing that you're using the power of books.
Oh, yeah.
Not the power of online necessarily, but the power of books to help change lives. I like hearing that.
I like what
Textile.
you said, Jan, about how people around you influence you, because we all know people that make us feel happy and make us more positive, and then we know the opposite too. So Mindy, what would you say if you were in a situation, could be a family situation, could be a work situation, could be a friend situation, where you are surrounded by negative people? What do you do in that kind of environment?
Oh, I got another book for you guys. If you're writing this down,
Have been.
I've
No,
got my
I'm
pen.
serious. Listen,
I
have
can write it
learned-
down.
And I want to tell you guys something. I hated high school. I was not a good student. I was in the principal's office. I was naughty. I talked too much.
Imagine that.
And here I am.
Welcome to my family.
But I mean, listen, this is the truth of the matter. You have to reduce the toxicity and the toxic people in your life. I mean, I'm talking the music, even if it's family members, whatever it is that you're allowing to speak into you, you truly are teaching people how to treat you. And when you allow that kind of behavior to happen, I mean, the weight, we've all felt it before, the weight is heavy. And it's absolutely necessary. You can still love them. You should still love them and pray for them, but you've got to distance yourself from that. And there's definitely strategies there, but the book Boundaries is another one that, again, transformational book, changed my life, because we run into it all the time, every day, especially on social media. And there's that beautiful block button. You just block. Bless and release. That's what I do.
And you probably don't get entangled with negative comments and back and forth.
Nope.
Just
I
get
don't
away-
allow
get out of
myself
it.
to do that anymore. And that took some time and some working on, but it doesn't serve my time well, and so I don't go there.
That's what I love in this environment. Everything does tend to get toxic because we have very divisive opinions. And we'll talk about this a little bit in the next segment too, about politics. Because you do get involved in politics, but you do it in a real positive and confident way.
Yeah.
That you care about what's going on and you're going to get involved.
Absolutely, and I think that that's also another thing too, to Carmen's point about kids and teaching kids. We've got to get back to the point where we can have healthy debate and healthy discussion
Right.
without lowballing each other. You know what I mean? We've got to bring that back, and that comes back from the parents and how we're showing up. That's my belief anyway. And so, yeah, we got work to do, but we can get there.
We're going to start talking about some of that work when we come right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Flamin' River Mix-a-Lot.
Oh my God!
They won!
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped My Pillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled My Pillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or My Pillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are once again joined with Mindy Backsen, an online influencer, and we explained what that is. And basically, she just wants to bring a lot of positive energy onto the internet and out into the public. And that includes also, I know you've been very active a lot of times just in local issues with schools and politics. And one thing that people, well, two things I'd like to talk about. One is how to get involved, how to start, and the other thing is how to be effective at it. Let's just start with how do you get involved to begin with?
Well, I tell you, how to get, I mean, there's many different organizations that are out there depending on what your issue is. I think being involved as a parent is really, I mean, this can go very deep, but just kind of surface level, I think first and foremost, asking your kids about how their day was, asking to see what kind of homework they're doing, you know, when it comes to the schools and so forth. Politically, finding out what's happening in your community, going to some of the school board meetings, going to some of the county commission meetings. It's important just to show up to the meetings and to ask the questions. I mean, that's really, right off the top of my head, the first thing that I think about getting involved. And again, we've got a lot of issues happening across the board, across the state of North Dakota, across the United States and the world. I think it's just a matter of seeking out others that may, you know, have the same situation in their household. I find it on social media a lot of times, people commenting on things, and the discussion begins, and taking it from there, really.
And I want to direct people to your Facebook page too, Mindy Backsen, right?
Yep,
is that what they go to?
I'm Mindy Backsen on all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's a volatile place. But yeah, I'm Mindy Backsen on all the platforms. So.
And you always have something positive and good advice, and I really encourage people to go to your Facebook page to see some of the, like the book, the 9 different ways. What is that? 9 things you don't want to regret.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was on Tuesday. That was a really fun one to do. But the funny thing is, I appreciate you saying it's positive, and that it's uplifting. And I know we want to talk about this a little bit too, but there's a lot of people that don't agree with some of the things I say.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But really, and I think that going back to kind of what we talked about before we ended the segment about having just a healthy debate and being okay. I have friends that are on the opposite end of the spectrum with me, and we just agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. And when you can, I mean, for me personally, when I can seek understanding and just try to get their perspective on something, I really, truly am honestly concerned, or asking a question of, why do you feel that way? And And it's interesting to see the response, and then sometimes to go, okay, well, now we know. And I'm not going there, and neither are you, and I love you anyways.
Right.
You
That
know?
doesn't always happen, though. There are a lot of folks today that instead of just disagreeing with you or agreeing to disagree, they seek to destroy the other side. And it is a challenge, a personal challenge, to be kind even when they are not. You have to. There are a lot of people that they present their opinion, but it is just that it's an opinion, it's not fact. And if that's pointed out, then they take it as a personal assault. And that's, I think, where a lot of the discussions, they just don't happen anymore.
They kind of deteriorate pretty fast once that happens. Yeah, and I think, and I don't know how you approach it, Mindy, because there's times where I've had it where I'll say, why do you think that way, or why are you saying that, or could you explain your position, because I'm not understanding. And as soon as I start to go down that road, a lot of times it'll disintegrate within 3 back and forths. It just is, because I think because I'm not doing it to be mean, I want to try to understand. But sometimes when it's an opinion and there's nothing to back it up, I just assume they'd say, well, it's just my opinion. That's great. That's great.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We're all entitled.
Then we're all entitled to have an opinion. That's why we live in America, that's who we are.
Well,
and I can respect opinions, but when I ask them why, that's when things go south, it seems like, because then you have to have something to back up what you're saying. And I don't intend it that way, but that's the way it winds up.
Well, and unfortunately, I think, too, we live in a very offended world.
Right.
And so it's a whole different ballgame I think we're playing right now, especially when it comes to social media. I mean, us ladies having a conversation here, if we were disagreeing on something, I don't think it could get as divisive and crazy as it can on social media. That's a whole nother beast. But truly, what do I want to make on this point? Sorry, my brain's kind of going all over the place. I've got a lot of things.
I hear you.
I'm thinking.
A lot of times people will use that anonymity.
Yeah.
You said the word.
You did.
I didn't trip over it.
Yeah, good job,
But
Jan.
they can type something and, they aren't touched by it. But the person on the other end is feeling all the feelings of what was
Words
said.
can become knives.
And, even within our group here, we text back and forth. We get information to and from one another. And sometimes things get misunderstood. And the same thing happens with my family. My daughters and myself, we will text some things back and forth. And it's like, what did you mean by that? And, somebody took something negatively that wasn't meant that way, but you don't hear voice inflection. You don't see facial expressions.
Correct.
There's no touching the hand and saying, oh, this is what I mean. If it's just in text, it's up to the reader to interpret it, and it's not always interpreted correctly.
And so it's easy to get negative on social media. And sometimes it is intended negative because you're a little bolder than you would be if you were sitting right next to them. But I want to move into being an effective communicator, especially when you're getting involved in politics or the school board or whatever the issue is that I always think you need to be careful to tread lightly, because to be careful what you say so that you don't get discounted. And once you get ruled out as somebody that anybody's going to pay attention to, you lose your opportunity for effectiveness.
Right.
So can you give us advice on that?
A quote comes to mind. I used to TiVo Glenn Beck in college, and he said a quote that I kind of live by. He said, question with boldness, hold to the truth, and speak without fear. And this hold to the truth piece, I think, is what's really important, and that the opinions can get all stirred up, and the emotions and the feelings can get all worked up, but what are the facts? What is the truth of what's going on? When it comes to political issues, what's the truth of the matter? What does the black and white say? And speak from there. I think too often people just, they get fired up about something and it's a knee-jerk reaction, so then they just, and then as you present it that way, you become discredited because you're just an emotional mess that's just spewing out craziness. With respect to those of you that speak like that, that's just how it is sometimes, So if you can deliver that with respect to the other person and what's happening, and it's black and white truth, and granted, even truth can get interpreted differently, I'm finding.
Absolutely.
you know, I think that's where you can become effective, because you've done your research, you know what you're talking about, and you can come in well-mannered, well-spoken, and speak without fear.
So you don't just have a bad day and something hits you the wrong way and you start spewing, right?
No, you should taste your words before you spit them out.
You come
you know?
prepared, right?
Yeah.
And plan ahead of time what you're going to say and know what you're going to say, right?
Right.
So when we're going to take a break here in just a minute, and we're going to have Teresa Tomeo, who has been involved in the media for many, many years as a TV reporter in Detroit, and now she's a syndicated radio talk show host. And we're going to talk about what's going on in the media today and how to navigate and more. So we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Flumin River Excellent.
Oh my God!
They won!
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
But how will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are going to be joined this segment with Teresa Tomeo. Now, I could do a whole show just on her bio, so we're going to just bring out a few points here. She's a syndicated talk show host with the Catholic Connection on EWTN Radio. It's been 19 years. I don't know how that could be because I think I've known her about that long. She also worked 20 years in the secular media. She was a TV reporter for the Detroit News, and to make it in that network, you have to
know your stuff.
It's tough, yeah. Yeah, that's a tough market, and she made it, and she was successful. So welcome to the show, Teresa.
Well, it's great to see you, ladies. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and congrats on the show.
Thanks.
Thank
I should
you.
add Teresa as a longtime friend of mine, too.
Yes.
So thank you for coming on the
Great
show.
qualifier.
Sure.
What I love when I listen to Teresa's show, I just love that she doesn't mince words and she knows the media. You experienced it firsthand, the kind of manipulation that goes on. What was it, 30, 40 years ago you saw it, and it's worse now. So tell us, what did you see when you were working as a TV reporter?
Gosh, there's so much. And then my first book is all about that. As you know, Patty, it's called Noise, How Our Media Saturated Culture Boggles the Mind and Dismantles Families, basically. It's just an incredible influence in all of our lives. And what I felt was just this constant pressure to sensationalize, to push fear versus facts. And also I noticed toward the end of my career in the secular media, a real bias toward anything even remotely conservative. And this was back, I left the secular media in the year 2000. So this was 21 years ago. And it was bad then, but it's 20 times, 100 times worse now. And most of it back then had to do with sensationalism and covering a lot of murders and fires. And I just got really tired of that and just felt that I didn't belong anymore because I couldn't do quality journalism that I had studied in school and worked so hard for. So I had to make a decision based on my own personal life in terms of the way the media schedule was controlling my life. And also I just didn't feel like I fit in anymore. I just didn't feel like I was making any difference and using my God-given talents. And so I made a decision to just up and leave and walk away without a job. Back in 2000, that's how bad it was.
Wow. I can really appreciate that you kind of looked around and said, here's what I need to do for me. Because, you know, as women, we sometimes, we take care of ourselves last and everybody else first. So I just want to commend you on that. I think that's amazing.
Yes, and being able to just clarify things. Sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it's such a mess that you can't see the forest for the trees, but just being able to clarify for yourself that, you know, this is not working, and what talents do I have and how can I best use them? And obviously it's not here. I mean,
right.
Sometimes it takes a while to get to that.
And yeah, it wasn't an easy decision. It took me actually about 3 years until I completely walked away, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. But I think it was a personal decision, yes, definitely, because the scheduling, it's a brutal business, as Patty mentioned, especially in a major market the size of Detroit. So it was having a great deal of effect on my personal life. But I think also from a professional perspective, I wanted to contribute something to society, and I wasn't doing that anymore. Anybody can cover, you know, a car accident or a fire. It doesn't take a Pulitzer Prize winner or an investigative reporter. But those stories, while they're important to cover, should never be the basis of a newscast. And, you know, that old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. I saw it every single day, 24/7.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to note that journalism is a competitive business, you know, that you're trying to get the stories, but you're also trying to get to be relevant. And so for you to have been in the Detroit market, to have been successful, it really was, I know your story, so I know that God had a lot to do with you pulling away, almost transitioning, like you had to be deprogrammed in a way, right? To pull yourself out of it.
We call it a detox, actually, those of us who've left the media, secular media, and there's more and more of us. If you've noticed, you had the woman now in Phoenix, Arizona, I believe her name is Carrie Lake, and she walked away from a major anchor position because she didn't feel she was being used, her talents are being used, and now she's running for governor in the state of Arizona because she wanted to do something with the communication gifts that God gave her and to try to help her state in some way, and she wasn't doing that anymore on her job. There's a woman here in Detroit who walked away from her position as a weather person on the air. And we've seen this happen over and over again recently. And it wasn't easy, but I just really feel that we have to do what we feel that we're called to do in order to make a difference. We're all put here on this planet to make a difference. My gifts happen to be communication. I was born with the gift of gab. My mother always teased me saying I came out of the womb talking. And I just didn't feel that I could be used anymore. For me, as you said, it did have a lot to do with my Christian faith, but at the same time, there were many, many professional reasons as well. The business, unfortunately, is not what it used to be. When I first started, I graduated from journalism school in 1981, and I went to one of the best J schools in the Midwest, Central Michigan University, which, Patty, as you know, is an excellent journalism school. And I learned so much and had such good professors. And when I started in the business back in 1981, when I landed my first job, it wasn't like this. It wasn't perfect. but it certainly wasn't to the point where we have now, where, you know, it used to be where you would kind of wonder, are they biased? Or, you know, what are they doing? Now it's just gone, not just the sensationalism and the fear factor and the if it bleeds, it leads, but the bias is so blatant. And I'm not just talking about, let's say if there's a network that tends to lean to the left or the right, I'm talking about in daily news coverage. And Patty, you and I were talking in preparation for this program, and I was telling you about a story that happened here over the weekend that I discussed on my radio show, because it basically was the tale of two protests. Same protest, but covered completely differently by two different network affiliates here in Detroit. And you wouldn't even know it was the same event the way these two stations covered it.
Actually, Teresa, I was listening to the radio and I heard you talking about it. I was headed to Valley City because that's going to be our next My Hometown. Stay tuned. We'll have more about that. But you were talking about that protest outside Henry Ford Hospital from employees who don't want to be forced to get the COVID vaccination. And do you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Because it was two very different pictures they were giving.
Absolutely. So Henry Ford is a very large health system here in southeastern Michigan. They have major hospitals. They also have doctors' offices and medical facilities all around the area. And so the workers were very upset that they were being pressured and are being mandated to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And so about 400 people in one location organized a protest, and there were protests at other locations all around southeastern Michigan. So the local media came out and did the story. Now, the Fox 2 affiliate, we watched the story, and I basically dissected it on the air for my listeners. I did a little media literacy course, did a very good job. They had statements from Henry Ford Hospital. The hospital did not want to put anybody on camera. That's fine. That's their prerogative. But then they talked to several different protesters as to why they were there. They did not make it a political thing. And what's interesting is it was so balanced, because they had a nurse that they interviewed, a man who said, I'm not anti-vaccine. He said, I may even get it. He said, but right now, my wife and I are still planning to have other children, and I'm not sure yet about the infertility issue. I still have a lot of questions. I am merely here to support the choice of the matter. People should not be forced to take this vaccine. And nobody is going to take the flu vaccine. Why are we being forced to take this? And so it was a very balanced picture, and it did not paint everyone with the same broad brush, which often happens. Now, the other story, which was by the NBC affiliate, turned it into a totally political anti-Trump story. And I'm not going to weigh in on Trump. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying this is what they did. So because there was a politician there from the Michigan state legislature who was speaking, and he was Republican, and he was known for supporting Trump in the last election, they made it all out to be Trump. Meanwhile, there's hundreds of protesters from all walks of political life, from all different spectrums, employees who are very concerned about the matter of individual choice. Had nothing to do with a politician and everything to do with freedom of choice. The one network covered it very well and very balanced with both sides of the story. The other turned it into a political mess. It was just such a stark difference, a tale of two protests.
And so you have to be so careful where you get your news from, because here we're talking about two different stories. And I started out at University of Detroit in journalism. Now I switched over to Michigan State and I graduated in social work, but I filled up on classes, and I know back then they used to teach that take yourself out of the story, that you were just to get the facts. And now you see that there's agendas, and the reporters aren't taking themselves out of the story. So how can two reporters tell you a whole different story? It's disturbing, because we're being manipulated.
We're being duped. We're being manipulated and duped, and we have to be smart enough in how to discern. And that's why I do a lot of media literacy on my show. When we come back, I actually have some steps that people can take in how to make sure they're not being duped and how to discern the media properly.
Perfect, Teresa. So when we come back after these messages, we're going to talk about how can we discern the media properly. We'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your number one choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and we are once again joined with Teresa Tomeo, media expert. 20 years in the secular media, almost 19 in the Christian market, and she is the host, syndicated talk show host of the Catholic Connection on EWTN Radio. And we were just talking about the media, and you're going to give us some advice on how to discern fact from fiction.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more difficult, I think. But if you just stop and just take some time, take a breath, and kind of pull yourself out of the situation, I think you can discern fairly quickly. I would also recommend, Patty, if you don't mind, my website, teresatomeo.com, Teresa without an H.
Right at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, my books are there, and my first book, Noise, I think people will find very helpful. And it's all about different aspects of the media, and there's each chapter has all kinds of different pieces of information on how to help you deal with all this media messaging. But anyway, number one is to realize that the media are a big business. Patty, you alluded to this earlier. So follow the money. A lot of people don't think in that aspect. It's no longer about giving information. That stopped really, I think, in the 80s and the 90s when they realized they could start making money because of the different laws that changed and whatnot. So follow the money and realize, number two, that the fear factor is very big. We actually have consultants in the news business, and I met with these consultants repeatedly as an on-air personality in a major market that would instruct reporters and the powers that be in the newsrooms, the EPs, executive producers, news directors, how to present your newscast, especially that first bag or that first 15 minutes of the newscast, with stories that will keep people's interest. That's why you often see shootings and car accidents and fires in the first part of a newscast, because it's easy and cheap to cover, especially in a big city like mine, Detroit. But also it gets people all nervous to think, oh my gosh, NIMBY, not in my backyard, so they'll stay tuned. So fear is a big driver. That's why we're seeing so much in terms of COVID. And number three, look for the evidence. Where is the evidence? If someone is making a claim, according to whom? Where's the attribution? Where's the evidence for the claim? And also consider the source. When you're looking at a particular website, How long has the website been in existence? Who's sponsoring the website? Is it designed to get you to sign up? It's very important because now a lot of these news outlets make money not only from ratings if they're a TV station or a radio station, but websites and advertisers, they like to drive people for the clicks and the likes. So it's all, again, tied to money. So those are just a few things to look at. But also be a critical thinker, okay? And don't find yourself always going back to the websites, and whether they be, I don't care what side of the political aisle we're talking about, don't get caught up in a website that is completely negative. There are a lot of websites that do nothing but promote fear. The sky is falling, the world is ending, and it gives you the sense of we're never going to get out of anything and there's nothing to live for. And they actually have a term for it they call fear of the world syndrome. And so if the website that you're watching or the programs that you're watching are constantly negative, that should be a clue. And if it's affecting your peace, if it's affecting how you feel and you find yourself nervous all the time, and people are struggling with this right now, this is real, then it's time to back away. So it's just a few simple things on how to really look and discern the media.
You know, we talked about the first part of the show, we talked about being positive and not getting involved in all this negativity. It's toxic. And Teresa, you and I have seen websites that have made stuff up about you.
Oh,
and
yeah. Yes.
I stepped in, Church Militant, I stepped in to defend you, and oh my gosh, it was so angry and hateful. And I made one statement and I said, I'm out of here. I'm not even going to go back to this website ever again. And that's what you should look at. What are the kind of people that frequent that website?
Yeah, the ad hominem attacks, as you mentioned, are another sign that people are really not out to report anything. They're out to get you upset and to get more clicks and more likes and more financial support. The website that you mentioned actually requires people to pay for their prime content. And all the allegations that they've made about me have never been backed up with one stitch of evidence at all. Nothing. It's all lies. And that same website that you mentioned is now facing a major defamation lawsuit in federal court by a vicar general on the East Coast in New Hampshire because of their alleged shoddy reporting. And yet they haven't told that to their followers. They've kept that hidden. There's no news on that. But if it's always negative and if you're always attacking people, but what happens is, you know, there's that old saying that came out of World War II, right? If you tell a lie enough, people will believe it. And you constantly say bad things about people, then people, if they're only watching one particular site or sites similar to that, they start to believe the lies. And so I challenged this particular outlet, and I've challenged the people who follow them. Okay, where's the evidence? If this is what you're saying is true, show me. There's a connection. If these are such great investigative reporters, those allegations that they claim about me and many other people that they don't like should be fairly easy to prove. And zip, zero, nada, because it's not about that. It's about grabbing people's attention and keeping them afraid that the sky is falling and the world is ending and that we're never going to get out of the mess that we're in.
Exactly.
So then how do you choose what you report on? You know, that's a tightrope to walk as well.
Well, I'm trained as a journalist, and you know, I have a degree and I studied this and I worked in the news business. So I think you have to go back to the basics in terms of what are people concerned about. And you have to know your audience. For me, as Patty said, I'm a syndicated Catholic talk show host. So obviously matters of faith are very important. And also people want to know what's going on in the world. So in my show, I do a 15-minute newscast that I write and produce every single day. And so I cover the main stories in the world, whether it be something going on with the administration, whether it be the latest with COVID, but we have an emphasis on faith, okay? And so I have enough judgment because of my background, thanks be to God, to know what's news and what isn't, what's just sensationalism. So I think in terms of covering the stories, from a reporter's perspective, they need to know their audience and they need to make sure they're being fair and balanced, which is unfortunately few and far between in terms of the way stations and outlets are covering any story, whether it's something on COVID or something on politics or faith or whatever.
I want to point out, it's been up on the bottom of your the page here, teresatomeo.com. If you want to learn more about Teresa Tomeo, and she has so much on her website that we can learn, because I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Italy.
Yay!
How many times have you been to Italy?
Probably close to 60 now.
60, wow.
Yeah.
And you have a travel website that people can contact you for advice, some consulting for their trip if they're going to go to Italy. And it's at travelitalyexpert.com.
Yes.
There it is at the bottom of the screen. Oh, no, it will come up on the bottom, sorry. Travelitaly.com.
TravelItalyExpert.com. TravelItalyExpert.com.
TravelItalyExpert.com. And Teresa, what do you do? And to help people with their trip and what's going on in Italy right now?
Yeah, well, it's actually an extension of my overall ministry, because I believe that we're surrounded by so much negativity in the culture that we need to be reminded of the true, the beautiful, and the good. And because of my heritage, I'm 100% Italian, as is my husband, Deacon Dominic. And because of my love of my Catholic faith, I go there because of work, obviously, being a Catholic talk show host. So over the years, I've acquired a great deal of knowledge about all regions of Italy. And I had many listeners contacting me for advice, and I decided, well, I can make that part of my ministry. So I have a consulting service, an hour consultation for a very reasonable fee. And I give you more information than you'll ever need to know about wherever you're going. And you'll also get a document. I just had a client yesterday, and we're going to be serving her with a hard copy and a PDF copy of a near 40-page document on the Amalfi Coast with restaurants, hotels, favorite places to go, tour suggestions, churches, everything you need to know to help people understand that there is good in this world, right? And there is beauty. And one of the most beautiful places on the planet. I don't know anybody who doesn't think of putting Italy on their bucket list. Doesn't matter if they're Italian, it's such a beautiful place. It has everything, the art, the faith, the food, the fashion, the culture. It's just a stunning country, and I like to help people enjoy the good, the true, and the beautiful.
We only have 1 minute left. I'm curious how open it is now compared to the United States.
It's great. I just got back. I was there a few weeks ago. I went over to test things out. It's completely open. They're not requiring a vaccination. They just require a simple negative COVID test. There's no masks anymore. One or two of the regions might require you to wear a mask as you're walking into a restaurant, but then once you're in, you can take it off. It's very open. I just read an update today. But what's great, if you want to go to Italy, go now, because there's no crowds, and that's never going to happen again. And because Italy is such a popular tourist spot, you need to get there, and you need to get there soon in order to enjoy it.
Okay, you heard it here, everybody. Get
Girls
to
trip.
Italy.
It's a girls trip.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got a girls trip coming up in the fall, ladies. We do. Check it out. It's on my website. I've got 2 trips, one for couples and one for ladies in November.
So check out TeresaTomeo.com and TravelItalyExpert.com. Thanks, Teresa, for joining us. It's been
Thank you.
a
God bless you
pleasure.
guys. Great job. Ciao.
God bless you
Thanks,
too.
Teresa.
Bye now.
God bless. And we'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Calling all first responders. Join us Friday, July 30th for First Responders Night at the Bismarck Event Center. The Bucks take on the Green Bay Blizzard with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff, and will highlight those who serve and protect our communities. For more information on tickets, please visit bismarckbucks.com. Get your free general admission tickets today.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage.
Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Could you do us a favor? Beck TV is a finalist for Best Local TV Station in the Bismarck Tribune's Best of the Best. Vote now through August 9th by text or online. Vote for your leader in local, Beck TV.
Welcome
vote
back.
back. Vote back.
Yeah,
Vote
vote back. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, your favorite TV station, right? On that.
Yeah.
Lots of fans.
On
Lots
the
of
Bismarck
fans out
Tribune,
there.
they're doing the poll. Yeah, so vote for Beck. We would appreciate it.
Yep.
And they are the best TV station, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By far.
Truth in media. Well, welcome back to the lighter side. We're talking about being upbeat. I've got upbeat for you here. Let's watch this very touching video.
E nós vamos então acolher as alianças que vão confirmar esse amor e esta união.
You're the air that I breathe. Yes, and you are all that I need. You are the sun, a gift of light. You are the moon, my comfort at night. You are the water that keeps me alive. You are the ground on which I stand. Yes, you are. Wherever you go, I follow you there. Wherever you go, I follow you there. Whatever you do, I'll be there.
Does it count as upbeat if you cry?
I'm like, surprised for this.
It's so beautiful.
This is why we have Kleenex
my
in between our
gosh.
chairs. Isn't that touching?
beautiful.
So beautiful.
What a beautiful surprise. It actually happened in Brazil, and she helps them with their speaking. She's kind of like a speech therapist. So, well, you guys, we had stuff to say, but who can talk?
Collect ourselves, ladies.
It was so cool to see how just exuberantly the groom was beaming like, I did this right. I did the right thing. This was the right choice for her and for us. It was awesome.
Yeah. And watching the kids come down the aisle, just the joy they bring just by being who they are. You just look in those faces and they love people. They love life. I mean, a lot of them do, some are, but it's like, you see that, how can you not be touched with just love that fills you? Okay, I'm done.
100%. It's been a really long day. We had a tough day at our business, and there were some injuries, and everybody's going to be okay, but we're family when we work together, and when one gets hurt, we all hurt. And when one person has joy, like on that video, you can't help but take it in, and it moves you. And
Yes,
it was beautiful.
Yes, it does.
And these are complete strangers to us.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yet we're all so touched because of the love.
I caught myself thinking about the congregation that was there to witness the wedding and how many of them, it had to be, if you were in the room, oh my word, Oh, goodness. I was wondering, since we're on the lighter side.
You wouldn't know it, but we are. Yeah.
And life is beautiful, and all people are beautiful, and God loves us all the same. It doesn't matter which side of the spectrum we're on and whatever. And so going with that theme, I'm thinking of that 100,000 plus little things, and there's another bookmark you have in there, and I don't know what it says, and I've been wondering the whole show. So.
Has it really thrown you off, Carmen, this whole time? You're like, come on.
It has. It's like there's got to be a zinger in there. I just know.
You know what? It's actually funny. So this is the next one. I'm going to be doing a live on Tuesday next week at noon Central Standard Time. Actually, kind of funny. Not funny, but 30 lessons for finding strength in hard times.
Oh, that will be a good one.
It's going to be good. Now, I probably won't cover all 30 over that 30 minutes that I do live, but good stuff in here.
Give us one.
Okay, number one thing, you are not what happened to you in the past.
Amen. Amen.
That one chokes me up just saying it. Jeez. Yeah. No. So and then it goes into some detail. Number two, I'll give you guys two just because it's fun. Focus on what you have, not what you don't. And that is another practice that I talk a lot about, and that's gratitude. Yes. Every day, 10 things I'm grateful for. I don't miss a beat on that. So.
I love that gratitude. As I was driving into work today, as a matter of fact, I was thinking about, I had just visited with my dad, and he loves this Bing Crosby song, old Bing Crosby music.
Yes.
And it's count your blessings instead of sheep to help you go to sleep.
Right. Right.
Go to sleep counting my blessings.
Yes, and I learned that a while back at a retreat, and it helps you get to sleep in such a pleasant, happy, peaceful way. And we all have blessings. And he gave us an example, things that we often don't think of. Plumbing, screens on our windows. It could be something big, it could be something small, but there's so many of the little blessings we completely forget that make our life easier.
And I'll add to that too, Patty, because this is another practice that's just completely transformed just how I show up every morning. And that's before my feet hit the floor, to just stop and give gratitude already for the air in my lungs, for the ability to get out of bed and just surrender it right away in the morning. And
Well, we are thankful for our audience, and we hope you come back. Join us tomorrow with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive, and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.